On the road, a man drove neither fast nor slow. In the car, he gripped the steering wheel with both hands. His face was cold and you couldn't tell what he was thinking. The car's radio was broadcasting the news about the president's amnesty. This amnesty was expected for civilians and minor violations. It caused controversy when the politicians and chairman of leading corps took all the slots. The one that the public hated the most was Cheon Dong-seob, the loan shark of Gangnam. Except for him, other rich men were also on the list of amnesty. The news came under heavy criticisms. It also made Hari very discontent. Hari was exceptionally well dressed as polite prosecutor visiting Dong-seob. He also didn't know that Dong-seob was having lunch at the prison governor's office, being obsequious to Dong-seob. The prison governor gave him his bank account. Dong-seob looked at him with a sneer of disdain. Once upon a time the time before when he was a prisoner, he had to bow. But he was going out of jail soon. There was no longer a reason to be subservient to a prison governor. Hearing that a prosecutor wanted to see him, Dong-seob didn't want to see him. But when Hari gave him a folder of his subordinates under arrest, Dong-seob changed his attitude. He tore the files in anger. Hari walked out of there when his goal was achieved, and threw away the prosecutor card. Dong-seob asked his men to stop laundering money and put everything away. Hari was eavesdropping him, with the help of a friend from afar, the talented hacker Lim Byung-min. Hari wasn't caught on the CCTV, learning about personal information of 2 security guards. He could make them leave Dong-seob's private elevator. Entering the base of launderers, he took away a large amount of cash. When someone saw Hari taking away the cash, they were about to attack him. A big guy appeared behind them. He was Hari's partner, Do Jin-woong. Jin-woong knocked them out easily, all alone. Within just a few minutes, all the thugs were on the floor, while Jin-woong was busy punching. Hari called the police. When the police arrived, they saw the wounded thugs and an empty safe. Prosecutor Jang In-gyu told the police team to check all cars leaving the parking lot. However, Hari and Jin-woong loaded all the cash in a police car, and drove out of the parking garage. This place was also been strictly inspected. Passing through the checkpoint, Hari saluted the police and quickly drove away. However, the police quickly realized that they weren't police officers. They chased after Hari and his partner. Byung-min wasn't good at driving. 3 people in the car got panicked. When the police almost caught up with Hari, a female rider in black wound her way through the lines of police cars. She cut in ahead of the police cars. Thanks to her, Hari could escape. When Dong-seob was released from prison, his juniors lined up to welcome him. Prosecutor Jang In-gyu questioned him where he hid the cash and if he owned the 28th floor at Wonsong Hotel. Dong-seob denied it. He said he knew nothing at all, and he was stunned when his car's trunk was opened. All of his cash was there. The prosecutor congratulated him on becoming empty-handed, point out that Hari's group handed over the money to the prosecutor. They wanted him to grieve over what he lost. He had it coming, going to jail and losing all of his money. In-gyu even picked a quarrel with Dong-seob before leaving. The next day, In-gyu dug deeper into Hari's team. The first person was Jin-woong, the popular fighter. He worked for anyone who paid him. The fighter never lost a one-on-one fight. Byung-min was the top hacker, who won the world's largest anti-hacking competitions. He was also the first Asian hacker to win the contest to hack Canada's financial system, also the driver who helped the whole team escape from the police. Finally, the leader was Hari. They barely found his info. In-gyu wanted their help to bring judicial proceedings against a rich kid who sexually assaulted girls. Due to his family's money and power, the police officers covered it up for him, so that In-gyu couldn't bring him to court for trial. Hari was aiming at CEO Kim Ki-taek. He was currently under investigation for bribing politicians. Even though he had paid for his sins, he only admitted to embezzle 8 billion won. In fact, he converted a fund of 40 billion won to his own use. When the prosecutor arrived, all the money was gone. Someone must have told him to hide it. When Byung-min dug into CEO Kim's family, he learned the youngest son was bailed out despite his crime of indecent assault. CEO Kim entrusted a man named Jong-min with financial management. Hari quickly assigned tasks to each member. Sung-gu threw a party as soon as he was bailed out. During the party, he noticed a waitress. He tied her up and filmed it when he violated her. When he untied her and removed the tape on her mouth, she bit him, then gave him a hit on the head and ran away. She was going to call the police on the stairs. Sung-gu found and dragged her away. Through the CCTV of the building, Byung-min saw Sung-gu drag the waitress. Feeling something strange, Hari and Jin-woong came to the waitress's house. He acted as a prosecutor and asked her mother about her. She said her daughter was hit and run on the way home. Hari saw the girl lying on the hospital bed with bandages all over her body. The doctor said the girl was seriously injured, so there is a high possibility that it will live as a plant. Hari was extremely angry and determined to make Sung-gu pay. Jin Woong came to see the perverted police. He asked for the case records of Sung-gu and his father. Under the threat, the police gave Jin Woong the records. With simple fabric tricks, Byung-min logged into the adult website where Sung-gu posted depraved videos. He found a video filming how he tortured the waitress. They discovered someone had tracked them down. While checking on the videos, they found the real-time location through the IP address. A group of men attacked on them when they were about to leave. 3 of them then had a fight with the thugs. However, with overwhelming numbers, Hari and his teammates were caught. Aryung arrived and helped them escape. Jin Woong was sure that someone helped them find his team. Moreover, that website was closed. He decided to find the person behind that. The perverted police was flirting with a girl. Jin Woong gave him a punch. He fell to the ground. Jin Woong brought him to the scene of the hit and run. Hari told him to tell everything he knew about Sung-gu. 2 years ago, they made money from an adult website. As Sung-gu's parents were rich and powerful, he set little store to the law. He wanted to be the male lead in those videos. Hari and Jin Woong grew cross when the criminals thought the law couldn't punish them. Sung-gu and his family would be punished. The perverted received a text message. Someone would put an end to the waitress's life. Hari and his teammates quickly went to save her. Aryung and Byung-min broke into Sung-gu's condo. They discovered there was a hidden room inside. Hearing the news, they set off to the hospital to rescue her. They took her to a private place before the assassin arrived. Hari had a doctor take care of the waitress. Fortunately, she was recovering. At the nightclub, Sung-gu heard about the failure in eliminating her. He violated another girl in anger and asked his bodyguard to handle the consequences. The next morning, Hari's group took the waitress to a hospital. Opening her eyes, she got panicked seeing them. Hari calmed her down by professing himself a prosecutor. They wanted her to take the stand proving Sung-gu's crime and make him pay for his sin. She told them an important detail. On the night of the incident, she recorded everything with her phone. The police kept her phone. After that, Hari and his teammates sneaked into the police station to get her phone. They lured Dal-soo out by telling him that his car was scratched. Aryung bumped into him to steal his purse. Jin Woong disguised himself as a food carrier and inserted the USB into Dal-soo's laptop. Byung-min copied the data. He found out that Dal-soo usually exchanged emails with Sung-gu. Hari came to Aryung. They entered the evidence storage room with Dal-soo's card and quickly left after finding the waitress's phone. Dal-soo returned and knew something wrong with his laptop. Seeing the USB there, he figured it out. The officers chased after the intruders. Hari's team already left. The police officers still followed them. They each took a different way to run. 3 guys misled the officers while Aryung went to take the car. She told Hari that the thugs were also coming to them. However, the 3 people still clashed with the gang. Jin Woong made the way for his teammates to run. The gang leader didn't let them go easily. Hari was determined to fight for buying time for Byung-min to finish the copy process. Hari quickly defeated his opponent. At the same time, the process was completed. They continued their run. After taking down all the thugs, Jin Woong fought the leader to help his teammates escape. After only a few strikes, Jin Woong could knock out the gang leader. The police officers arrived at that time. Hari left right after Byung-min passed the USB to him, when Aryung, Jin Woong, and Byung-min gathered. They didn't see Hari anywhere. He didn't pick up their phones. Aryung said they would leave immediately or else they would be arrested, but as soon as she finished speaking, they were surrounded by the officers. 3 of them were handcuffed. Dal-soo reported to CEO Kim that he had caught the killjoys. Unexpectedly, Hari was already there to make a deal with him, after listening to the recording of his son's crime. He had no choice but to accept Hari's request. Before he left, he made sure to delete the original recording. Aryung did a trick to untie herself and her teammates. Together they went to see Hari. However, the assassins were in their way. Jin Woong gave them each a punch. He crushed them all in a short time. Prosecutor Jang was finding a way to handle CEO Kim and his son. He received a phone call from a girl who was with the victim of the sexual assault. He came to see the girl in person to make sure no one would shut her up. The officers also came there and searched thoroughly. In-gyu didn't let them in her room, because he suspected the police of taking bribes. He put them under investigation. The victim gave Jang the USB to prove Sung-gu's crimes. Hari fooled CEO Kim for a large amount of money. Nevertheless, he didn't want to outlaw Kim. He avoided his teammates when they got angry at him for his late rescue. However, he was still discovered by them. Jin Woong was about to give him a lesson. He forgave Hari after hearing his reason and new plan. The next day was Sung-gu's installation of new CEO. Hari's plan to expose the criminal. Aryung and Hari impersonated the guests. They stole a card to enter the prohibited area. Hari misled the MC to buy time for Aryung to mess with the laptop. Byungmin hacked the system. When Kim and Sunggu came over, Hari and Aryung watched it from a distance. Aryung had a disdainful smile. The party began with Sunggu's speech on the screen. Suddenly, his crime was shown to everyone. A staff turned off the screen. The recording of his crime was on the speaker. What he said was too unbearable to hear. The reporters surrounded and took photos of him. The chairman quickly left the ceremony. Sunggu followed him. At that time, the chairman was arrested for bribery. Meanwhile, Sunggu went to the garage. When he was driving out of there, someone stopped his car. He got out of his car and screamed at the driver. Hari sneered at him. Sunggu was only strong enough to threaten the women. Sunggu was defeated in just one move. They left Sunggu there for the prosecutors. Sunggu couldn't escape punishment. The team of 4 came to a hidden basement where the chairman kept his money. They were so excited seeing the money. Suddenly, someone attacked them from behind. During the investigation, Professor Jang realized that the list of the corridors of power found in the church was rejected. He asked Kang Sungwoo why it was rejected. Kang said Jang got the list by an illegal way. Jang wondered if it was the order of chief prosecutor. The crime of CEO Kim and his son were evident, so they had to make sure the safety of influential people behind them. That was how the chief prosecutor kept his position. Kang wanted to fire Jang. Jang said to Kang's face that he would destroy all the symbiosis between criminals and authorities. He showed a disdain before leaving. Later, Jang found 4 people were tied in an abandoned factory, and a note asking for an armistice. They were 4 officers who was assigned to catch Hari's team. Aryung stole the key. When the officers turned their back away, Hari and his teammates could remove the handcuffs by themselves, then tied the officers together, although they were unsuccessful in capturing Hari's team. In-gyu still put them on watch. An officer asked In-gyu if he should catch Byung-min. In-gyu was making a new plan at that time. Turning around, he saw Hari sitting across from his desk. In the prosecutor Jang's office, Hari made himself at home. In-gyu didn't make a fuss or grow cross. Hari offered a cooperation with In-gyu, yet, he was rejected. In-gyu felt shameful if he worked with this bandwagon. When Hari left the office, he saw a photo of In-gyu and a man. Hari questioned In-gyu with a loud voice. What does the law mean to you? Punish the victims and protect criminals? But why are those criminals always the winners? They made everything beneficial for themselves. Hari wondered if In-gyu accepted to be those rich men's servant. Before leaving, he put his card visit in In-gyu's pocket and asked him to call if he changed his mind. In-gyu knew what Hari said was true. This also made him think a lot. The next day, In-gyu attended a press conference. Director Na was guilty of corruption and illegal gambling operation. However, Kang Sungwoo claimed Na's innocence. In-gyu was discontent with that. He questioned Kang about his claim. Kang said there was no evidence of Na's crime. In-gyu said it was Kang who rejected the evidences, yet, Kang blamed In-gyu for not reporting about his investigation. Kang gave In-gyu the last warning. Moreover, Kang accused In-gyu of taking sides with former chief prosecutor who fled abroad after taking bribes. In-gyu was so angry, he was seeing justice, yet, people accused him of sectarianism. This changed his mind. He thought every way was deserved as long as the criminals were punished. Hari received a call from In-gyu. He gathered his team around. The 4 joked around when they saw each other after a while, but when they saw In-gyu coming, they was watchful over him. They felt like Hari betraying them again. They wanted him to make it clear. After Hari reassured his teammates, they began to discuss it with In-gyu. In-gyu gave them a list of criminals whom they had to arrest. It consists of chairmen, politicians, executive, ministers, deputy minister and gang bosses. They all received special privileges in prisons. No matter how serious the crimes they committed, they were only sentenced to prison for 3 to 5 years, so he asked Hari's group to arrest all those people. After a while of negotiation, an agreement was finally reached. Hari's team would give In-gyu evidences of the crimes. The other 3 was no longer upset. Instead, they were ready to fight. The first goal was Director Na. The boxing player chosen by Na lost the game. This result made him extremely angry. Not only did he lose a large amount but also got taunted by his rival. He gave the broker a brutal attack. If he couldn't find a better boxer, Na would take his life. People were demonstrating against the urban upgrade project, because the project director appropriating part of their indemnity. Finding it unsatisfactory, they protested the relocation. Suddenly a group of thugs came and they were hired to handle the protesters. All the people were beaten mercilessly by the thugs. During the investigation, Hari saw that Na was hiring a bodyguard. He asked Jin Woong to apply for the position. Director Na's father-in-law wanted to call a meeting of the board of directors on the dismissal of Na. Moreover, Na didn't get any response to the acceptance of the bid on the apartment project. That made him feel like he was on a knife edge. When Director Na went to a party, Hari struck a conversation with Na as a manager of boxers and introduced Jin Woong to him. Na was so excited when Jin Woong easily knocked out his opponent. He immediately hired Jin Woong to work for him. At night, he organized a big match. Jin Woong was a participant. Hari's team began their plan. Young and Hari disguised themselves as security guards and broke into the Director Na's hidden room. Byung-min supported them from afar by hacking the camera system. Hari installed a hidden camera. Na wasn't a fool, he seemed to be up to something. Na left when Jin Woong couldn't lead the game. The ring's alarm bells began to ring. Byung-min had a problem to hack the system. Smelling something wrong, Jin Woong turned over the table. The police officers stormed in to catch the gamblers. That was Na's trick. He called the police to mess up with the arena. As for himself, he fled away with all the cash. However, Hari knew his plan. In a disguise as security guards, Young and Hari loaded the cash in their car. They got away with the money unexpectedly. Those money was counterfeit. Hari and his team were completely fooled by Director Na. He was keeping the real money. The next day, Hari's team went to see the guy who sold fake license numbers and checked on his transactions. They found out that Director Na had a slush fund. To find his slush fund, they decided to go to his company. Jin Woong went to the hospital to visit his brother, who was one of the protesters suffering from brain injury due to the thugs' violence. As his father-in-law requested, Na paid a visit and a compensation to those who got hurt. Jin Woong chased after Na when they encountered at the hospital. He knew Na paid those thugs to assault the protesters. Jin Woong swore not to spare him. In a disguise as the IT engineers, Young and Hari were allowed to get in Na's office. They were stealing the information. On the way out, they saw Jin Woong was in a grip of the thugs. They rescued him, yet, Jin Woong still wanted to revenge on Na. Hari explained it to Jin Woong that they had no evidence to accuse Na. If Jin Woong still wanted to beat Na up, he would be put in jail and Na was still free to do the wrong thing. Jin Woong finally got it. They was determined to make Na bear responsibility before the law. For this reason, Hari made a careful plan. They would steal Na's money. At night, Byung-min and Young got dressed like the staff there. They staged it up to steal the key to open the depository. After checking on the camera, Byung-min found where they kept the money. He asked Jin Woong to deal with the guards at the front door. Meanwhile, Hari was distracting Na's subordinate. When he retreated, they chased after him. He had no choice but to run towards his team. At this time, Young and Byung-min drove to the depository. Jin Woong already knocked out the guards, after loading money to their car. They saw Hari was running and a group of thugs behind him. Jin Woong had to fight again. Hari could strike a thug down. Young and Byung-min drove away, but they were stopped by another car. As a skilled driver, Young could easily escape. The thugs followed them up in 2 cars. In the meantime, Director Na was having dinner with his ugly wife. It was her birthday, but when he heard that his money was stolen, he left his wife in the restaurant alone. Young were caught in a cleft stick. She fled away with Byung-min on her motorbike, leaving the money on the car. When the director arrived, he realized it was just a trick. That was the false money he prepared for his own trick. At that time, he received a call from Hari, who was keeping the real money, and he just paid Na with his own trick. Na got furious, but he couldn't do anything. Before the next mission, Hari told Jin Woong to pay for the hospital fees with those money. Byung-min and Young both agreed. Jin Woong was too moved to speak. After that, Na went back to this illegal arena. He quickly discovered that someone had come here. They were none other than Hari and his partners. Young was chased by the staff there. However, no matter how hard they tried, they could not keep up with her speed. Listening to Byung-min, Young lured them to chase after her around the building. Na got tired of the chase. He told his men to catch her while he was taking a breath. 2 guys blocked her ways. She quickly used tricks on them but lost her wireless earphones. Byung-min couldn't tell her the way out of there. She was in danger, so that Byung-min left the surveillance room to help her out. He tried his best to life to roll up door for her to escape in the last minute. As soon as Byung-min saved out of danger, he hugged her with joy, but instead, she gave her a slap. Director Na encountered Hari on the mat. Hari reminded Na of his crimes with a note of irony in his voice. Na admitted everything. To achieve a higher position, he had to flatten his ugly wife so far. His wife heard everything from the grandstand. She wanted to divorce him. Na already lost all his money and social status. The last thing he had to take for his sins was Jin Woong's nasty punch. Na laid motionless on the mat. When he woke up, he was already handcuffed. The prosecutor Prince Hunter, after Hari's group cleans up, he finally got his deserts. Prosecutor Jang was allowed to found a special team. You can tell whom he would invite to the team. The next day, he thanked Hari and his partners. He gave them specific position in the machinery of government. This excited them a lot. When In-gyu came back to his office, his assistant said the victims gave them phone calls of thanks for helping them receive compensations. In-gyu knew who did it. Looking at the photo of In-gyu and another man, Hari recalled that In-gyu began his career 17 years ago. It was Hari's father who instructed In-gyu. That was why Hari trusted In-gyu. He told himself that it was just the beginning. Those who were arrested were not the schemer. The person behind everything was still unknown. Hari's father also once hunted down that person. It was also the reason why his father lost his life. To defeat opponents, Chairman Kim got rid of those who opposed against him. The leader of the police picket also lost his life for that. In-gyu saw Hari fell down from the top of the building. That person fastened a crime of bribery on Hari's father and created a false place of suicide. Hari wanted to arrest that person and claimed his father's innocence. He made relevant people pay for their sins. He was going to find out who was that person. Their next goal was Chairman Park, who embezzled 180 billion won. Byung-min spied on him. He told his teammates when Park was on the run. Everyone began to act. Hari Won and Aryung drove to the place of Chairman Park. Hanging up on his phone, he realized that the drivers weren't his men. He asked them to drop him off. Aryung stopped the car in front of the prosecutor's office. The prosecutor's team was also setting off to arrest Park for their investigation. They brought him to them instead. The next day, In-gyu began to interrogate Chairman Park. He asked Park who was the man behind him. Chairman Park admitted there was someone behind him. He threatened to get In-gyu fired if he wasn't freed. However, he couldn't scare In-gyu, who was determined to prove their crimes. Hari and his partners discussed who was keeping the money. Aryung remembered that Chairman Park mentioned a man named Baek-sun. Thus, Hari told Byung-min dig into people around Park, even including the housemaids. Then they headed out to do their missions. Aryung traveled home by subway. She noticed a couple stealing a woman's purse. As she was a thief, she didn't make a noise. Getting off the subway, she saw them being chased by the police. The female thief fell down in front of Aryung when the male one escaped alone. When Aryung set the female thief on her feet, she stole the purse and threw it in the trash bin. The police let her go when they found nothing. The girl wanted to learn more from Aryung. Aryung let her in as she didn't want to leave. That girl named Young-ji, she grew up in an orphanage, and she was willing to cook and do chores for Aryung. As long as Aryung could make her a skilled thief, Aryung persuaded her to return to the orphanage. Early in the morning, Young-ji prepared breakfast for Aryung and washed clothes. Yet, Aryung still asked Young-ji to leave. Aryung remembered that Young-ji kept calling her mother when she was dreaming, which upset Aryung. Aryung asked Byung-min to dig into the orphanage where Young-ji grew up. Coming to see the director of the orphanage, he told Aryung that Young-ji called "Hi Dad." Aryung seemed to know why Young-ji didn't want to return there. Hari went to see his ex-girlfriend, who was a doctor. Knowing that Hari still put himself in danger, she reminded him the time he went to see her with wounds. Fortunately, she could give him timely treatment. She figured out that he was investigating high-ranking officials. They hired an assassin to seriously injure him. A moment later, he woke up. He saw her crying with fear for him. He didn't know how to comfort her. When he missed her, his wound was still painful. Back to the mission, Hari and his partners were investigating about the manager working for Park. Realizing that Aryung had a sadness, Hari asked her what was wrong. Instead of sharing it with him, she left in anger. She rode around the city to relieve her worries. Aryung remembered when she was still a thief, she was in charge of stealing and passing items to her partner. The police was following after her, and her partner only took the bag and left her there. End of flashback. She received a call for help from Young-ji. The former gang caught Young-ji and used her to make Aryung to work for them again. Couldn't reach Aryung on the phone. Those three guys had to carry out the plan without her. 3 people spied on a group of thugs. They were Park's hirelings who were carrying the cash to the manager. Suddenly the police came to the scene. The hirelings ran away. Hari quickly followed them. Suddenly, a car jumped out and blocked his way. This driver was Aryung. Before Hari could regain his composure, the police took him to the police station. Hearing the news, Prosecutor Jang immediately went there. He rescued Hari so he could continue his investigation. Hari and Jin Woong threatened Park's hirelings for more information. They said Baek-sun carried the cash away. After finishing her duty, Aryung asked the thugs to free Young-ji. However, they already took her to the rich men. That drove Aryung up to the wall. She knocked out the thug and threw him out of the car. Then she broke into the rich man's house alone. She knocked out the perverted old man and led Young-ji out of there. The old man's hirelings chased after them. They blocked Aryung's way. Seeing the orphanage director, she asked him to take care of Youngji while she fought the thugs. However, she heard Youngji's scream of fear. When she turned around, the thugs knocked her senseless. However, she could still see the orphanage director taking Youngji away. Failing to contact Aryang, Hari tracked her car down. They found out that she drove it to an orphanage, the one that Aryang asked Byungmin to dig into. Dropping by the orphanage as a police officer, Hari asked about Aryang. The director's unclear responses made Hari even more suspicious. On the way leaving there, Hari told Byungmin to hack the CCTV there, because he knew something was wrong there. Along the way, Hari asked Jin Woong to drop over when he saw a CCTV on the side of the road. They went to the local police station to check it out. Hari used Professor Jang's identity to get the approval from the police. Professor Jang In-gyu regretted about the cooperation with him when he knew it. Aryang woke up in an unoccupied house. The thug whom she threw out of the car last night was also there. He told her about a secret. As Youngji wanted to join their gang, she staged it up to fool Aryang. She was in pain because she trusted the wrong person. Youngji cried and said sorry to her, thanks to the local police. Hari found a path leading to only two places. One place was an unoccupied house where the director orphanage once lived. The other was none other than the orphanage. Catching the information, Hari and his partners split up. They didn't know that someone had reported it to a powerful person. Meanwhile, the orphanage director and his accomplices were hiding the cash. Then he returned home and tortured Aryang. Suddenly someone came and rang the doorbell. It was Hari dropping over his home. He wanted to go inside to check around. The orphanage director felt so stressed. He was about to handle Hari, yet Hari discovered it. They started to fight. With a few basic attacks, Hari easily defeated him, making him unconscious. The thugs stopped Jin Woong and Byungmin from entering the orphanage. Two of them were defeated. The leader was the one going with Aryang the other day. He provoked her teammates by saying that he had violated her. It made Jin Woong get furious. He turned the table and gave them a lesson. When Hari found Aryang, she was sorry for betraying him. He didn't blame her because the whole team soon considered her a younger sister. When Hari was carrying her and Youngji out of there, the orphanage director pointed a gun at them. Suddenly, a person was thrown inside. That was the director's henchman. They failed to get rid of Byungmin and Jin Woong. Jin Woong gave the director a loud slap. The orphanage director ran away to save himself. Outside, the gangsters have come to open the way for their master. Hari and his friends had to fight the thugs again. Although they are fewer, they are not at a loss. They weren't in a disadvantageous position despite the differences in number. Aryang followed the director closely. Speaking of driving skill, he was no match to her. He couldn't get away from her. He lost control and crashed into the side of this road. He lost consciousness. Professor Jang In-gyu also promptly arrived at the scene to clear the consequences. All the thugs were caught. The orphanage director was taken to the police station. The next day when Hari came to question him, he already passed away. Did he take his own life? Or the schemer got rid of him? Who was the one eliminating him? At a press conference for the presidential election, presidential candidate Kim promised to put an end to prostitution if he won the election. However, he sexually assaulted his secretary at night. Escaping from him, she called the police. She couldn't expect that the police was Kim's hirelings. They stitched her up as an addict, then they arrested her. The next morning, In-gyu went to see Hari. Reading the accounting book of the orphanage director, he discovered there was a sum of money transferred to presidential candidate Kim's account. Maybe he was the one backing the embezzlers. Hari didn't agree with In-gyu to check this out. Presidential candidate Kim wasn't the person whom they could mess with. The officers were asking a female protester to leave the hall. Lawyer Jean saw them after a shooting for a TV program. He told the officers not to treat her that way. He gave her a card visit and said he could help her as a lawyer. The woman asked him for a talk when he was about to leave. They came to Jin's office. She told him about her daughter's case. She was mother of the secretary who was sexually assaulted. Jin asked her about the phone numbers of the witness and her colleagues. Hari was also talking about Kim with his teammates. He was involved in a scandal with his female secretary. She was arrested for possession of illegal drugs. She claimed that Kim sexually assaulted her and accused her unjustly. Three of them dragged Hari to the trial. Everyone was against the female secretary to cover Kim up. Only lawyer Jean defended her, but he was completely in a disadvantageous position. Saw the lawyer Hari decided to join the investigation and assign tasks to his teammates. At night, Hari interrogated the female secretary in prison. She told him everything happened to her. When she entered the room to find Kim, she wanted to leave when he was wearing a bathrobe. He held her back and asked her to have a bath. Getting scared, she pushed him away and left. After she left his place, his wife asked her not to make a noise about it. Hannah wondered if she did something wrong. Why did it happen to her? She regretted to denounce him. If she kept silence about it, she wouldn't have been put in jail. Hari promised to help her claim her innocence and punish the jerk who assaulted her, masquerading as reporters. Byung-min and Jin Woong failed to find for more information. Ari-young pretended to be an intern and approached Hannah's colleagues. Neither did her find any clue, while Hari used his handsome face to approach Hannah's colleague who made a false statement at the trial. The next day, he inquired into Hannah's co-worker. After getting her drunk, she stole her phone, then he made a copy of her phone's data. They found a strange message sent to her. Someone paid her for making a false statement. On the other side, lawyer Jin was having a meeting with the assistant of Kim's wife. It was Ryu Hyunja who cleared all the obstacles that stood her husband's way. She hired someone to clean up those involved in the voter bribery case. But there was still one person who escaped. He disappeared with a large amount of money. Hyunja's assistant was scared of her actions, so that she gave the evidence to lawyer Jin. She hoped the bad guys would be punished before the law at this time. Hari's team was investigating the bribery of Kim. They discovered that someone stole $1 billion of Kim and disappeared, then traced him out. The whole group hunted him up. Hari also told Ingyu about that. He quickly gathered everyone to prepare for campaign. It was too late when Hari's team arrived. Ari-young saw a blood stain at the booth. A passerby told them that there was a man kidnapped by a group of people. He was taken to Hyunja. She immediately sent someone to send the traitor away. Hyunja knew there was more than a traitor. Someone told her there was still one left. It was lawyer Jin who let her know. Lawyer Jin was actually a scumbag. The assistant was denounced by him. After ordering her hirelings to get rid of her assistant, she left with those guys. It was too late when Hari's team arrived. Both of them were dying. Everyone became helpless. All the witnesses were gone. In the meantime, Jin was talking to that person. Hari's team brought the assistant, who got small chance of surviving, to the hospital. Hari waited outside. He called someone for help. The one he called agreed to help. A moment later, the doctor came out and told everyone the bad news. The girl was dead. Right after that, a doctor was also calling someone after handling the patient. Lawyer Jin met up with Hyunja. She paid him a hug sum of money for getting his job well done. Jin was a hypocrite. Many years ago, he was Ingyu's co-worker. After quitting his job, he acted to be good to gain people's trust. He appeared to be on the defendant's side. In fact, he messed up with the case and pushed innocent people to jail. Once again, he was trying to put Hyunja's assistant to jail. Hari visited the female secretary's mother and asked her about the assistant. She said the assistant had given lawyer Jin the evidences. Hari had known about Jin's secret. The next day, Kang scolded Jang for investigating Kim without reporting it to him. Hari heard their talk. Though Ingyu was angry, Hari threw a file on his table. He said Ingyu's investigation deviated from the direction. That was why he was so passive. The album scene is a personal lawyer's document 15 years ago. Jin accused Professor Choi of embezzlement. With Ingyu's understanding of Prosecutor Choi, he was sure that Choi wouldn't be that type of person. Jin still brought in an indictment against Choi. Thanks to Hari, Ingyu seemed to understand everything. Hari shared with Ingyu the analysis of Jin. He believed that Jin was bribed by the rulers up to 50 billion won, to turn white into black. Not only lawyer Jin. Behind him was a whole system of prosecutors taking bribes. That was why Professor Jang's investigations were interrupted. The others in the team began to dig into lawyer Jin. Hari came to find a reporter. He threatened to expose his affair to everyone. By the way, he borrowed his ID card. Hari played at reporter to meet some other reporters and gave them the evidence of Kim and his wife. When they put the crimes of Kim on the headlines, everyone started discussing it in a widespread and inconclusive way. Going undercover as a reporter, Hari went to see Jin. He told Jin that Jang Ingyu was probing into Kim. Hyunja threatened to get rid of Jin if he failed to handle it. That made Jin worried. He immediately warned Ingyu. Jin fell into Hari's trap. Ingyu was looking for Jin. He presented evidence accusing Jin of being involved in many bribery cases, falsifying evidences and money laundering for senior leaders. Jin knew those clues weren't enough to accuse him, so that he dared to challenge Ingyu. After leaving the prosecutor office, Hari and his team followed him up. He went to a restaurant to meet some officials, including the next chief prosecutor. Ari-young disguised herself as a waiter and served those men with food. Lawyer Jin gave her an inquisitive look. Luckily, a restaurant manager came to help her out. She quickly installed the eavesdropping device under the table and left. The restaurant manager was bribed by Hari. Ingyu went to see another prosecutor, who would help him catch Jin. Also thanks to this eavesdropping device, when Kang Sung-woo and chief prosecutor ordered Ingyu to cancel the arrest warrant for Kim and his wife, Yoo Ki-hoon let them hear the recording of their talk with Jin. Though he knew it was an illegal evidence, They would lose a chance of promotion if the reporters published it. You just used the same trick. He requested them to let Jang In-gyu continue with his investigation. In return, he would delete the recording. At this time, Hari was looking for the place where Jin kept his money. They discovered a female professor appeared at his house. She helped Jin carry money to another place, which was her office at a university. Hari and his friends immediately set off for her place. On the way there, In-gyu just found the broker. Hari entrusted the task to his friends. He went to catch the broker and the others stole the money. They didn't know that that broker was just part of Jin's plan. He colluded with In-gyu's friend to take him down. Lawyer Jin dug a pit for In-gyu. The broker was also waiting there. However, Hari was coming to them, not In-gyu. The broker sent his photo to Jin. Jin immediately recognized Hari. Many years ago, Hari once impersonated a waiter at his party. Jin sent some assassins to take Hari's life. Hari got stabbed. Hari jumped out of the house and luckily escaped. Jin put a wicked smile on his face when seeing Hari again. When Hari came in, the broker was already sitting there. He was keeping the account book of Jin's ill-gotten gains. A group of thugs barged in. They have prepared in advance. Hari was still calm. He closed the door and began a fight. He fought them all alone. He knocked out every single one of them. When Jin's men arrived, they saw the thugs lying about on the floor. Hari quickly chased the broker. He hid in the trunk of the car to deceive Hari. In terms of fraud skills, Hari was second to no one. He deceived the broker back. Hari kept the account and handed the broker over to Professor Jang. He then let Lawyer Jin know he was keeping his account book, and asked for an appointment. Hari asked Jin to pay for the return of the account book. Young and her friends found lots of cash in the cabinet, when Byung-min went to the toilet. The other two delivered the cash. At that time, a gang blocked their way. When Byung-min came back, he saw his teammates were surrounded. He handled the gang with a fire extinguisher, while his friends brought the cash away. 3 of them successfully escaped. Jin was as mad as a hornet. In-gyu asked Hari for the account book. Hari said he had a better plan. The lawyer Jin wanted to crash Hari. Luckily the nimble Hari escaped. Jin chased after him. At a turning point, he was hit by another car. The driver who hit Hari took him to the hospital. The doctor said that Hari might not wake up. His friends couldn't help. The gang even went to the hospital to catch Hari's team. Fortunately, Professor Jang promptly came to rescue them. Jin also went to the hospital to end Hari's life. Even when Hari woke up, Jin felt for a bug. Hari suckered Jin into telling all about his crimes. Jin admitted to be paid for covering up all the cases he handled. Those who took bribes were prosecutors and judges, and those who bribed him were politicians and the rich. He told Hari everything before wiping him out. He completely fell into a trap set by Hari. Hari depended on his ex-girlfriend for help. She asked her colleague to arrange everything. They made a way for Jin to get into the sick room. Hari's teammates filmed the whole thing. Furthermore, this TV was a recorder. The lawyer missed it out. His entire confession was recorded. Prosecutor Jang also came there to arrest him. Jin ran away. In-gyu was waiting for him outside. Finally, he was handcuffed. Hyunja was also implicated. She refused to admit guilt and loudly threatened In-gyu. When he let her know that her assistant was still alive and willing to take the stand, Hyunja couldn't deny it anymore. The next day, the press reported on the scandal of the wife of presidential candidate Kim and scumbag lawyer Jin. This caused a great disadvantage to Kim before the final result of the election. In prison, Jin was calling that person for help, yet, he was refused roughly. At this time, the prosecutor Jang was looking for evidences at Jin's house. Jin's phone disappeared. Hari had taken it away. He used it to call that person. That person threw his mobile phone away. Hari ditched Jin's phone as it was useless. He threw a special party to celebrate their victory. When Hari went to the toilet, a man who left his phone there, Hari realized it was Jin's phone, the one he disposed the other day. He didn't see the one who left it there. The leaders had another private meeting. They wanted Kim to step down this election. The one who was behind everything finally showed up. He told them to let Kim continue his campaign, because he could handle everything. The next day, Kim opened a press conference. He wanted to regain his reputation by asking the prosecutors to be severe upon her. He took full responsibility for not managing his wife properly. This was part of that person's plan to regain people's confidence. In the morning, Hari came to see his ex. She said her father just returned and took away a key. Many years ago, her father embezzled a huge amount of money. When he was discovered, he fled abroad with the money. The key he took was the one to the safe storing 180 billion won. In-gyu got mad when Hari told him about it. It was Professor Choi who was in charge of that case. It was him who let the embezzler escape, and his boss was involved in misfortune. Hari wanted to help In-gyu solve the case. they had to keep a secret about it as there were many spies around him, in order not to let it happen again. However, In-gyu let Yu Ki-hoon know about their plan, whom he trusts the most. He believed you could help a lot. Dong Seob got a visitor. He received a list of people whom he had to eliminate. Hari, who sent Dong Seob into jail, was also in the list. Dong Seob was freed from jail as soon as he took the mission. As planned, Hari went to his ex's house with his teammates for the investigation. Byung-min copied the data. Hari learned that her father texted someone who helped him launder money. Byung-min found the place where they were going to meet. The whole group wanted to come there to arrest them. But first, they had to make them show themselves. Yun-hee's father would be very carefully this time. The one who helped him launder money loved playing golf. Hari participated in a golf match with him. Aryung masqueraded as a caddy. She helped him fix his collar for a chance to attach a bug. By the way, she stole his phone. Byung-min imitated the money launderer to make an appointment with Hari, and his team headed out on the road as soon as they knew the time and place. At that time, Dong Seob caught the money launderer. He asked about their location. The money launderer told Dong Seob the time and place of their appointment. By this time, Hari had reached the place of appointment. He met his ex's father. Suddenly, Dong Seob appeared with his gang. They wanted to get rid of Hari and the stealer. Prosecutor Jang's office was being searched. In-gyu angrily asked them who allowed. He was so surprised when knowing it was Yu's order. In-gyu trust the wrong person. You let the reporters know about their hunt on Cho Won-ki. He even allowed prosecutors to work with the police to solve this case. In-gyu was kicked out of the plan. Hari was fighting the thugs alone. Won-ki took the chance to run away. Hari was in danger as there were too many of them. Luckily, his teammates came in time. They bought him time to chase after Won-ki. He was cornered by those thugs. Hari helped him out. They ran together. They hid themselves in a room to escape from the hunt. Hari called In-gyu for help. However, he was busy talking with you. Thanks to the call, you could find out Hari's hideaway. The police arrived there in a short time. Hari asked Won-ki to get in his car. They drove him to their base. They were very angry because they thought In-gyu had betrayed them. Another side called the boss contact with his subordinates. He knows the plan is on track. They have captured a hostage. The next morning, Hari told Won-ki to take him to the place where he kept money. However, the police blocked their way. Hari was wanted by prosecutor Yu Ki-hoon. He easily walked over the police. The whole team came to the harbor. They stole a canoe to travel to the island. In-gyu couldn't stay still. He and his colleagues also set out to the island. Won-ki kept telling them to go around and around. He didn't want to take them there. Hari asked him for a talk. Won-ki didn't trust Hari yet. Suddenly, Hari got an electric shock. He fell to the ground. Two policemen took Hari to the police station. On the way, someone stood in their way. Dong Seob came to catch Hari. The others couldn't reach Hari on the phone. Byung-min tracked his location. When they arrived, they encountered a gang. Jin Woong gave them a working over. Thanks to the chaos, Won-ki fled away. Hari saw and chased after him. Won-ki had no idea that they could track him out. Hari followed Won-ki to the warehouse. He promised Yun-hee to protect Won-ki. He advised Won-ki to tune himself in. Only then did he remember his daughter, and he began to feel regretful. He promised to surrender and testify to catch that person. Hari's teammates handled the thugs. Someone stood in their way on the way heading towards Hari. That was In-gyu. He came to explain everything. In-gyu himself was fooled. Everyone made peace with each other. Then they all came to Hari's place. In-gyu took Won-ki away and took his own way. Jang took Won-ki back to the shore. Yun-hee came there to see her dad. Jang let them have a private talk. Won-ki was shot at his chest. It was investigator Meng who shot him. Yun-hee saw her father's death with her bare eyes. She cried in pain. In-gyu was shocked by that. Hari's team was also stunned. All of their efforts became fruitless. It was that person's contingency plan. He kidnapped Meng's family to make him get rid of the witness. Meng was under arrest. In prison, he continuously apologized In-gyu. In-gyu sympathized with Meng. After that, he found Meng's wife and baby. He made sure of their safety. In-gyu wondered who gave him the order, but Meng had no clue. He just remembered there was a tattoo on the neck of the one giving the order. At that time, Byung-min was checking upon Hari. Hari was son of prosecutor Choi, who lost his life 15 years ago. Byung-min pretended not to know about it, because he faked the evidences to fasten a crime on Choi. He didn't dare to face Hari. Hari got worried when Byung-min didn't pick up his calls. Opening the hacker's laptop, Hari saw his own profile. He knew Byung-min figured out who he was. He went to search for Byung-min. Hari thought Byung-min was sulky when he lied about his identity, about Aryung. She was asking about her father. A woman said Aryung's father was involved in the electoral scandal 15 years ago. She went to see a drinker who was her father's best friend. He told her a truth. That person took her father's life. he was the most powerful one. Aryung was so confused, she didn't know what to do next. Jin Woong was home alone. He went into Hari's room. Hari started to inquiring into that person 2 years ago. Jin Woong also recognized one of the men on the list whom was hunted by him. The one who paid him for the hunt was called that person. Byung-min sneaked into the secret base of that person. He wanted to steal information to atone for a fault. However, the alarm rang while he was hacking the system. Dong Xiaob was sent there to handle him, but when they arrived, Byung-min disappeared with the copy. The gang didn't spare him easily. Byung-min sent the copy to Hari. Meanwhile, he misled the thugs away from his tablet. Dong Xiaob finally caught him and brutally attacked on Byung-min. Hari received Byung-min's email. He tracked Byung-min's location through the email's IP. When he arrived, he saw his friend being beaten. He defeated the gang and saved Byung-min from them. That person heard about their escape. He asked his men to carry out the next plan. Coming home, Hari checked on the email. It was the whole plan of that person. Someone asked to see In-gyu in person. In-gyu left his phone in the office when he went out. That was why his assistant picked up Hari's call. She told him where In-gyu was heading to. Hari notified his teammates. Aryung and Jin Woong went to find for In-gyu. He was going to a building where Prosecutor Choi's body was found 15 years ago. Even though he was suspicious, he still went into the elevator. He saw many missed calls from Hari. Hari warned him to be careful. Turning around, In-gyu saw a man with a tattoo on the neck, whom Meng mentioned earlier. Jin Woong came right before the tattoo man took In-gyu's life. He made way for In-gyu to leave. However, the tattoo man was not alone. Many people wanted In-gyu's life. Aryung helped him get out of there. Hari drove there as soon as they got out of the building. They thought it was already safe. Suddenly, a car was speeding towards them. In-gyu got hit when he pushed Aryung away. Everyone was terrified, thinking that In-gyu lost his life. All of their efforts became meaningless. Fortunately, In-gyu was still alive at that time. Jin Woong was defeated. He tried his best to break out. Though Hari saw the thugs running after Jin Woong, he drove injured In-gyu to the safe place first. Aryung drove Jin Woong and Byung-min away. That person got worried when all of them escaped. He ordered to carry out the final plan. At this time, Hari brought In-gyu safely back to base. He told him everything. At that time, In-gyu realized that the one he trusts the most also took sides with evil. He couldn't get why they all worked for that person, while someone like Hari risked his life to fight the evil. Finally, Hari admitted to be the late Professor Choi's son, who was In-gyu's respectable instructor. Hari wanted to punish that person by law. In-gyu could entrust Hari with their half-done mission. Before leaving, Hari looked back at the house filled with memories. He remembered the happy time with his teammates. When the others returned, they only saw In-gyu there. They knew Hari was finishing all alone, thus, they didn't go to find him. Instead, they would make way for him to approach that person more easily. The police searched and found a large sum of cash in In-gyu's place. It was staged by Yu Ki-hoon. However, they couldn't find where he was. Many people were skeptical and still believed in Jang's innocence. Jang's assistants asked Yu to reinvestigate the case. He decided to dismiss them. They weren't powerful enough to help. To make their plan perfect, Yu had to completely get rid of In-gyu. When he tracked In-gyu out, he sent a few police officers there. He even allowed them to shoot In-gyu. The police found an abandoned house. It was Hari's trap. He left In-gyu's phone there to mislead the police. Hari struck an officer down and stole his gun. Then he kidnapped Yu. Pointing the gun at Yu, Hari asked about his motivation. That person gave you lots of money, with the promise to take him to a higher position. That was the reason why he took their sides. He confessed it all to Hari. Hari also quickly recorded his confession. Then he gave Yu a nasty punch. Those who enforce the law must not break the law. Hari left him there alone. On the other side, his teammates began to clear the way for him. Byung-min provoked the criminals by hacking their network. Dong Xiaob received an order to find them. Byung-min and Aryung misled Dong Xiaob. They led the thugs to the port. Jin Woong played around with the police. However, he also led them to the port. Dong Xiaob's gang and the police were on the same side. That was also the plan of the trio. They called In-gyu's assistants for help in advance. The prosecutor team appeared promptly and heard Dong Xiaob's confession. All the bad guys were carried away by the prosecutor's group. In the meantime, Yu was seeing that person. He was extremely angry because he couldn't find In-gyu's body. No one believed that In-gyu took his own life after committing a crime. Thus, Yu couldn't close the case yet. That person gave Yu a slap on his face and ordered him to carry out the final step of the plan. He had no idea that he was filmed when taking someone's life. Hari attached a hidden camera on Yu's collar. That person was mad at Yu, who botched up all the time. Hari called Yu and asked him to pass the phone to that person. He wanted to meet that person. The next day, In-gyu woke up. Yun-hee was taking care of him. she gave him Hari's note. When Ingyu came to the office to arrest you when he was going to announce Ingyu's death with a fake body, Ingyu returned alive. The criminal's plan was ruined. At night, Hari had a long talk with that person. He admitted that what he did was to arouse Hari's resentment. These things made Hari angry. Hari taught him lessons about the law of cause and effect. He didn't believe that Hari dared to pull the trigger. At that moment, the thugs came to rescue that person. Earlier, he was just trying to put Hari off his guard. After giving Hari a dusting, he pointed the gun at Hari. Luckily, Hari's teammates arrived timely. They helped him out of there, taking the occasion of chaos. That person found a way to leave. Hari ran after him. His teammates followed him after taking down the gang. When that person drove away, Hari started his car to make after him. They didn't want him to leave alone. Hari didn't want to lose sight of his enemy. He forgot about his friend who was a genius hacker. Byung-min already attached the GPS tracker on his car, so they could know where he was going. Hari didn't want to push his friends away. 3 men were in a car and Aryung followed them in another one. However, her car had a problem. It was Hari's plan. These men didn't want to put their sister in danger. Aryung burst out crying as she knew their purpose. When the trio arrived at the building, that person came there to meet his partners. They started the game. Jin Woong knocked the guard senseless. They successfully broke into the control room. Hari disguised himself as a guard and followed Byung-min's instruction. Jin Woong cut off the power. The whole building was in the dark. With a special pair of glasses, Hari easily found the meeting room. He left a hidden camera there and left. No one uncovered him. The meeting of the officials occurred. The officials' main class began. Everyone could see the true faces of the high-ranking officials. They were surprised by Hari's appearance. Actually, Hari came there for another purpose. He wanted to claim his father's innocence. The viewers were so shocked. The truth about the scandal 15 years ago was revealed. Ingyu was also watching the live stream. Jin Woong shared their location with Ingyu. The professor and his team came there at once. That person lost his mind when everything was exposed. He himself admitted to stage everything, and he was the advisor of high-ranking officials. In order to cover up their crimes, they needed someone to help them plan. That person helped all of them escape punishment. Once he seized their foibles, he began to boss them around. Everyone was scared of him, but Hari dared to expose him. Someone like him was born to confront a jerk like that person. Hari left after finishing his mission. He and 2 friends were chased by the guards. Getting exhausted, trio laid down on the rooftop. Hari asked his 2 friends if the Hari wondered if they felt regretful. They said they were very happy, because dispensing justice was very interesting. Byung-min checked it out on his phone for the last time. They sent their wishes to their younger sister. Aryung was very happy seeing their video. From then on, she would live the way she wanted. They were arrested by the police. Ingyu wanted to defend them, yet, Hari didn't want to. He completed his goal for life, thus, he had nothing to grieve over. They wanted Ingyu to continue pursuing the criminals for what they had done. Ingyu couldn't let them go to jail. A few days later, the trial took place. Prosecutor Jang wanted to show the messages that they exchange, but the data was deleted. He had no choice. They were sentenced to 15 years in prison. Ingyu thanked for their sacrifice. They wished him all the best. Then they were taken to jail. Unexpectedly, the driver was Aryung. He stole the key and swapped the driver. They were happy to see each other again. She sped up and cut off the police. The prosecutors came to Hari's base. They couldn't find anything there. Someone took all the money away, leaving only 30,000 won. Ingyu helpless smiled. They always left themselves the bridge of gold. The end. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more great series. See you next time.